Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video. Well, welcome to Monday at Giga-Texas. A lot again to see and some major milestones accomplished in the last 48 hours. Today we start on the west side of the highway. I take a look at the widening efforts of River Road and also the water management ponds on the south side of that road. Then we come back over to the south side of the main factory. We see cargo carriers preparing to pick up Model Ys on the south end. We also see work being done inside the stamping extension with dump trucks taking dirt in and more materials going inside as well. On the west side of General Assembly, that steel ramp not only is operational, but now the cargo bay doors next to it have trailers moved up to them, moving equipment inside. And this is a very positive sign because this signifies that the General Assembly lines 2 and 3 are most likely being set up right now inside that particular area. Then we move to the north side of the building and we look at the irrigation system installation and also a large area of grass that's being installed on the west berm area. On the east side of Body in White, we look at that main entrance area or the secondary entrance area, and they are getting ready to install the windows today. All of the plastic's been removed and all the preparations to start installing the glass. And then finally we go to the battery cathode plant where it is now steel structure complete. We take a look at the final beam with all the signatures on it. The perimeter grade beam, which is the base of the walls, is being prepared for concrete on the east side, and more floor and roof decking is being installed as well. So a lot to see today. It's an action-packed video with a lot of information, so make sure you check it out. Thank you very much for watching. A special thank you to all of my outstanding Patreons for your continued encouragement and support. Patreon members get access to hundreds of high-resolution photos, previews of the future material, and direct dialogue with me. If you would like to support my channel, please consider becoming a patron using this link, which is also in the video description. Please also consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. So we start off today on the west side of the highway taking a look at the material storage and staging area, and you can still see quite a bit of machinery, equipment, and all these large tanks and so forth. I believe that some of this equipment, maybe those large steel tanks, the silver ones you see next to the white ones on the top of the picture, some of this stuff may be going to the battery cathode plant, and we'll see over the next couple weeks if that is in fact the case. You can see a very bright and beautiful sunrise over Giga-Texas, but I'm going to pan to the west because I want to show you, you can see here the road construction that is beginning, that's heading off to the north and various directions, but also the work has been done here recently to plant quite a bit more trees and to widen this road. This road is called River Road, and you can see the effects of the new paving and how it's now 2 lanes on both the west and east directions. You can also see the work continuing south of the River Road to configure that water management and pond area. And this will help prevent flooding into this area as it's further developed over the future. We can also see some of this large boulders or gravel, not gravel, but large rocks staged here. Also see the trees and the temporary irrigation system. And as I fly back towards the east, I'll look at the hills and the ponds that still remain. Again, I think if Tesla's listening, this would be a great place for a Cybertruck off-road testing area if they so choose. So we'll have to see if that in fact happens. But now I'm just showing you the full width of the River Road and how it appears with that new paving. And then as I pull back into the north direction, I want to stop at one other area. We've seen some of the earth moving happening here. You can still see more dirt being piled up. I'm not sure what this area is, but it does look like its grade is being developed and raised, so we may see more construction here in the near future. But good look here from the north looking south at that whole area where the material storage and foundation kind of area is. So I'm going to fly up to the north along the highway and just reveal Giga-Texas. And I hope that you enjoy this view as we continue to fly to the north. Okay, now we've moved back across the highway. We're at the north of the factory looking south. And here you can see the work on the irrigation system and some more of the landscaping. Also, what you can see is that large dirt area is having grass and sod installed. And as we fly a little bit farther to the south, you can see how much of this area has been filled with grass. We'll come back a little bit later in the video and get some more close-up views of this particular area, but all of this should be grass pretty soon. Here you can see the northwest corner roadway and how that appears. We'll also come back and look at the solar panel and the HVAC ducting work on the roof in just a little bit. But I'm going to fly down the length of the building, and when we get down to the steel ramp, I've got some new items that I would like to go over and point out a few things. So enjoy the flight down to the south on this side of the building. So now that we're down near the steel ramp, I want to point out a few things. One, note that the steel ramp is definitely being used and equipment is going in and out. Also note that the cargo loading bays to the north of that ramp have trucks. This is a new development. You can also see the lights flashing and the load leveling parts of the bays are operational. So this is a very good sign. Also, you can see more load levelers are being installed in these 4 cargo bays. And I'm going to try to get the drone down a little bit lower. You can look inside the structure through the ramp. But this is where I believe General Assembly 2 and 3 lines are being set up. And at Cyber Rodeo, this whole area was open inside. But if you look through the ramp, you can see there's a lot of partitions and walls now in place. So I think there's a lot more work going inside than we can see, but it's a very positive sign for production. So now that we're on the southwest corner, this is where I believe those prefabricated superchargers that are on the east material yard area will be installed pretty soon. So hopefully this week, and I'll keep watching for that. I'm also going to show you the overview here of the number of Model Ys that are on the parking ramp and preparing to be moved over to the transportation ramp just to the east of here. And several trucks were arriving throughout the time I was flying. So because of the sun angle, I'm going to do this close in 180-degree spin around, so apologize for some of the glare, but that's sort of the consequences of flying early in the morning. But now that we're facing towards the building, you can see that existing supercharger station. There'll be a second one off to the left to mimic this one. And also you can see this loading ramp. The upper deck has a roll-up door that's been closed. That seems to be a new development. And they continue to prepare the ground floor area for either a ramp or some additional work to prepare that area. Also, note the number of trucks with dirt entering the stamping extension area. This is an area that is still under construction inside. They are filling in some of the excavations that they've put in there over the last month or two, so it looks like that work may be coming to an end. More steel's being assembled inside as well, so a lot more going on inside than is evident with what we can see with the drone. And now as I come more to the east, what I want to show you here is there's another cargo truck. It's staged, ready to move over and start picking up vehicles. There's more Model Ys here that are waiting for future movement. And also notice the number of solar panels and mounts that have arrived back here at this material storage area. So continues to see a steady stream of solar panels arriving at the factory. These 4 trucks, I think, are picking up the stamping extra pieces from the stamping process to take to recycling. Also, the lighting gives us a chance to look inside here. You can see what I believe is the second Schuler stamping press. So I believe Giga-Texas has 2 Schuler presses and 1 AIDA or ADA presses, and that's a pretty significant amount of ability to make stamped steel parts, and probably for Cybertruck at some level as well. This is another look at the sort of material yard and where they filled in that clearing area to the left here, and it now just looks like a staging area. It's all level, and more of the Model Ys here segregated out. I'm not sure why, but for some reason they put some over here and then they move them all over to where you see 2 of the trucks staged to pick up the Model Ys. Now I've talked to some of the truck drivers, and each one has about 3 or so, maybe 4 trips to and from Giga-Texas a day. So these trucks and the drivers will be back here multiple times throughout the day. And also I noticed about 4 or 5 more trucks here by the end of my video and as I was heading back to San Antonio. So the pace of picking up vehicles is definitely keeping pace with the what looks like increased production. Still not sure about the production numbers. I think it's below 1,000 a week, but I'll continue to watch and see if we can detect the production ramp. This is just another view of more of the paving work of the road extension. This is the end on the east side of River Road, and you can see it trailing off to the west side, and we looked at that a little bit earlier in the video. So here I'm repositioning the drone to the southeast at a little bit higher altitude of the factory just to give you an overall view of this end of the building. And you can see how many Model Ys are on that parking and transportation ramp. It's really a lot starting to dominate that particular area, which is a great sign about production. So now I'm going to proceed north towards the north end of the directional drilling area. It just still looks like they're doing all the preparation work that'll be needed to eventually pull the pipe underneath the river from the south side. But right now, as you can see, not a whole lot of change in the last week or so. But now we're going to continue to go to the north along the east side of the building. And a couple things that I just want to show you here is, one, with the lighting, you can see inside some of the open bays of the stamping machine structure. You can see some of that scaffolding and other platform type equipment. And somewhere in this area is where I think the scraps of the stamping come from that are being loaded into those recycling trucks. You can also see this extended or new ramp area where they have the dirt, and it looks like most of it's filled in, just one area for paving remaining, and then we'll look for some rebar and concrete. And when it's done, it will look a lot like these active cargo loading areas with all the trailers already in place. And now the east secondary entrance, a lot of activity. All of the plastic where the windows have been removed over the last month or two has been removed. You can see the SEDEC glass crates, and you can also see some glass has been removed from the crates. It's over near the entrance area. This is a great sign. It looks like they are preparing to install some of the glass today, and those crates should be enough to finish this particular area. You can also see the framing in of where the doorway area is, and you can see the workers kind of walking through that area right now. So again, a lot of progress on the secondary entrance on the east side of the building, and hopefully we'll see this completed or significant progress with the glass by the end of this week. Now I'm going to continue to the north as we look onto the roof and the east side of the casting machine structure. And one of the things that you'll notice is that the expansion of the solar panels to the north continues. There's a large area now near the HVAC ducting that has been completed, and there's more materials and solar panels getting ready to extend that area further. But also looks like there's crews busy over on the widened part of the T, and it looks like what they may be doing is doing further wiring up of the solar panels and preparing them for hopefully maybe starting to get them to be connected and operational pretty soon, or certainly connected into the conduit that extends to the north up to where the new megapack will be, and we'll see a little bit more of that a little later in the video. So as promised, we've returned back to the northwest corner area, and I'm going to give you a little bit better view of the landscaping, the grass installation that is going on in this particular area, and also a little bit of the irrigation system that's continuing to be installed. They've made a lot of progress already with that installation of the irrigation system, but you can see another large section there where the crews are working. So now I'll proceed back to the main factory, and we'll look at the north end and the activity that is going on, particularly with the 4 main loading platforms. These two are at the battery cell production area, and the platforms service the 3rd and the 4th floors. The 4th floor is where most of the HVAC equipment and other machinery is necessary for the climate control of the factory and of the production of the 4680s. These two, the one on the right is for the plastics, the one on the left is for the paint shop, and again some more of those green boxes ready to be installed are moved up on the second platform for the paint shop. And now I'm going to proceed along the casting machine structure just to show you a look around the corner. Not really a whole lot that I want to point out here other than just the view down the east side of the factory. So let's go ahead and proceed up to the megapack and the new permanent electrical substation area just to show the progress of that area today. So many people have asked about the birds that are flying around the drone. They just nest in this particular area nearby and also in the North Bridge, and they do a lot of their hunting for food in this particular area, so they see the drone as a little bit of a threat. So that's why you see all the birds around. But this is how the electrical substation graded area looks today, and you can see the megapack off onto the triangular area across the road. The reason why everything is slow right now is that LCRA, which is the Lower Colorado River Authority, who will be constructing the electrical substation, doesn't have all of the final permits necessary to begin, but hopefully that'll be pretty soon. That same thing for the stormwater pipe that you see here is they're just waiting for the permits to come in so that they can install these and then connect that water detention pond to the water management system of Giga-Texas. So I'm going to fly to the sort of the southeast. We'll look at a clearing area near the housing, the old housing area. You can see how this appears now, and it just continues to be growing in size. And I think it's only a matter of time until the rest of this little housing area in the house is removed. But this is how it appears today. And I want to fly across the yard area, again, where all the trailers that bring production parts are stored temporarily, and move over to the southeast corner of the main parking lot just to show you the progress here. All the trenches have been filled in, and it looks like they're doing final work ahead of concrete in this one area. And we'll also start seeing the light pole bases constructed, along with some repaving of this area pretty soon. But this gives you an idea of some of the work that they're doing here to compact this, the ground area, and prepare for rebar and then concrete to finish off this particular location. So as we proceed back up to the north area where the battery cathode plant is, I'm excited to show you this because there's just so much progress and so many details at the cathode plant that I want to go over. So as you can see here, this is how the plant looks right now, and take a look at that clearing area where all the steel was. It just looks so barren now from what we've seen over the last month since all the steel structure has been installed. So as I get closer here, one of the things I want to point out is you can see those yellow forms being put in. This is in preparation of pouring the perimeter grade beam, and this will go around the entire circumference of the building, and this is what forms the bases of the walls. And we'll see this continuing soon, but it also means that they're preparing for concrete. Also on this area where you can see the floor decking is they're already starting to install some of the rebar mesh that will go on top of that ahead of concrete. And as one of my viewers has pointed out, is the mesh that they're using is slightly different than what they did on the main factory. And the reason why is it appears that the floor loading on this structure on the second and third floors is not going to be quite as high as the main factory is, as we've seen. So I'll continue to monitor and see how they do this, but just a little bit of details that I'd point out. You can also see that the crane is lowered, and it's most likely being prepared for disassembly as its main function is now completed for constructing the steel structure. And what I want to do is, on my previous video I talked about the tree topping ceremony and the signed beam. Here I want to get in a nice close look, and you can take a look at all of the signatures and messages that the workers that put this building together have left on this particular beam. And it's just another pretty cool tradition that iron workers who put steel structures together do. And I hope that you found that somewhat interesting, just to see the signatures and the messages. But I'm going to move the drone from the north over towards the east so you can get a better view of this entire area and how it appears. And again, just look how barren that east side looks on the ground where all the steel used to be. But this steel structure is essentially completed now. However, when they initially installed the steel, they only put some of the bolts in for that stage of the construction. These crews here with all these man lifts are going back and they're reinstalling the final number of bolts and making sure they're all torqued to the correct torque settings. And this work that they're doing now formally will complete all of that assembly, if you will. Even though the entire structure looks complete, it's just all those bolts that need to be added. Here you can also see crews adding what looks like electrical conduit now through that area where plumbing has been installed, most likely for an external tank farm area for the building. And then as we proceed a little bit farther to the south of the building, just showing you how the second and third floors here already have some of that rebar mesh ahead of the concrete that will be poured soon. I hope you enjoyed today's Talk and Fly and all of the various pieces of information that I presented along with the video. Another great day, a lot of progress, and more to come. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.